Our goal today, in an hour, is to try to give you a very broad overview of several much-needed reforms within the criminal justice system. Our system is always a work in progress, and there are a lot of pressing issues, and that doesn't mean we haven't been trying really hard to get it right before, but we can still keep trying and keep improving. Thank you, Representative Hurley, for raising several of those reforms for us. All of the reforms she mentioned that in her state are designed to respond to the steady increase in prison populations, despite, thankfully, a decrease in crime. Those changes are what people in my world call back-end reforms, or back-end changes. That is, they are reforms aimed at helping to improve the part of the system that addresses folks once they have already offended. And for the rest of the hour, I think our panelists are going to focus on more front-end reforms, that is, looking to improve the parts of the system that determine who is an offender to begin with. Together, these front-end and back-end reforms are critical. The United States imprisons more people than any society in the world. 1 out of every 100 adults in America is incarcerated, a total population of over 2 million people. The number of people who have a criminal record in this country, astronomical. In fact, America contains roughly the same number of people with criminal records as it does people with 4-year graduate degrees. But are we really a nation of bad people? No. Are we a nation of criminals? No. I don't think so.
Bad laws.
The front row doesn't think so. I think what we are is a nation that has become addicted to the idea that criminal sanctions and criminal sanctions alone are the only way we should deal with every possible ill in our society, the way we try to ensure compliance with every important rule and regulation, the way we respond to every unfortunate accident or tragedy. And as a result, time-honored principles of due process, fairness, and frankly common sense have been dramatically eroded. The phenomenon we refer to, in Washington, D.C. at least, is overcriminalization. Overcriminalization is the creation of too many criminal laws, many of which are poorly defined or overly broad. It's the creation of crimes for which the level of criminal intent is vague or unclear. It's the creation of a network of duplicative criminal statutes. It's also a process that vests almost unchecked discretion in the hands of prosecutors who operate in an admittedly adversarial system in which winning is sometimes equated with achieving the most severe outcome for every person who comes before them. So let's start diving into some specifics. First, we're going to explore the important role of criminal intent in prosecutions and how those additional protections are being eroded. Next, we will address weaknesses in the grand jury system. And then we will close with a discussion of how, in courtrooms across the nation, accused persons are convicted without ever seeing information that was in the government's hands that could have been favorable to them in their defense. Our goal today is to very, very briefly discuss the problems, but to spend the bulk of our time together giving you concrete ideas about solutions, common sense solutions that any of you can take back to your home states and work on implementing. And the good news is, all of the reforms we are discussing today have had bipartisan support on the federal level. In an age of intense and bitter partisanship, this surprising collaboration, I think, speaks volume to the common sense of these sorts of reforms. Thankfully, we are joined today by some incredible talent, some of them very far away on the other side of the room from me, and they are ready to help us understand these issues. First, and to my left, Senator Bill Seitz has been serving the good people of Ohio for some time, first as a member of the Ohio House of Representatives, and now as a member of the Ohio Senate. He is also a lawyer by trade. Over against the far wall, Jerry Lapport is a nationally recognized white-collar criminal defense lawyer in New York City, representing high-profile clients. He has been referred to by the New York Observer as a thorn in the side of many a prosecutor, and by colleagues as someone with a healthy sense of disrespect for authority, which is just what you need when you want to talk about making changes to a system that's been around for some time. And then we will hear from Sidney Powell. For 10 years, she served honorably as an assistant United States attorney for the Western and Northern Districts of Texas, as well as in the Eastern District of Virginia. She moved to private practice and then established a firm dedicated to appellate practice. She has served as lead counsel in more than 500 appeals in the Fifth Circuit alone. She's also the author of a great book, which is right in front of her, License to Lie, Exposing Corruption in the Department of Justice. Recommended